Yesterday saw the 4th annual silent protest at Wits and the 10th time that the silent protest happened in South Africa, and brought together over 500 staff and students as well as activists from other universities and NGOs to raise awareness of gender-based violence in South Africa.
So Drama for Life came into organizing the silent protest, I think 2 or 3 years ago, when because we come from the perspective of applying arts and drama for social transformation and healing. So Drama for Life, first of all, offers drama and art as a way to initiate conversation. And then today we have our master's drama therapy students, for example, doing the taping. And I'd say so far it's going well. We just need to put a little bit more education and information into the silent protest.
It was important for the protest to start early so that it was possible for people to participate in their lectures. And around 10:30 there was something called Blow the Whistle on Sexual Violence, where you had participants with whistles that obviously weren't silenced, kind of making a noise specifically to try and disrupt people's comfort levels around gender-based violence. And there were some reports that people in their lectures were unhappy with the disruption, but I heard a very interesting report that straight after that, somebody left their lecture venue and approached one of the participants and reported to them that they had been sexually harassed by a staff member and asked for assistance. So there was a direct good outcome, which was unforeseen, but we certainly hope to see more of that.
AHF has played a role in bringing awareness to, other aspects of the protest that we hadn't considered. For example, we haven't engaged with the subject of post-exposure prophylaxis on campus and whether it's provided and whether it should be provided or where it's provided. And that's one of the very first things that AHF challenged us with, is that if we're going to stand in solidarity or raise awareness, we need to provide people with answers. If I've experienced a case on campus, I need to know what the procedure is, where I go for help.
Traditionally, most silent protests include a march because I think in South Africa the public expects that if it's a protest there's going to be a march. But also it's a good way of broadening the reach of the protest and taking it off campus a little bit and allowing the general population to interact with what's going on. It's also a really good way for protesters to express their anger, because the day can become quite solemn and because you're silenced, quite introspective. So it's a good way to externalize what's going on and express. And yesterday there was a lot of anger expressed during the march, which I think has become quite traditional. One thing that I was particularly struck by in yesterday's protest was how everything happened in very public spaces. In previous protests, organisers have tended to try and have the debrief session where survivors get up and testify in a more enclosed venue to provide some sense of privacy and a contained space for people. But yesterday, the debrief happened in a very open public space where there were pedestrians walking past, there were cars driving past. And I had my doubts about whether people would feel comfortable talking about experiences of rape in such an uncontrolled environment. And I was absolutely blown away by the number of people that got up and shared their experiences, despite the fact that it was quite a psychologically unsafe space for them.
If we're talking about diversity and growing as a country, we need to diversify that very patriarchal system that is the police system in South Africa. It angers me, and unless people that have the power are willing to engage in that conversation, I don't think there's much any of us can do about it. I would put more women in the police system, and I would make the laws and the procedure of addressing sexual violence a lot more smooth and a lot more stricter.